Hello everyone and welcome back to James Talk Sport. The Grande Part is only a couple of days away now, so I think it's probably about time we take a look at the GC riders, the battle for the maillot jaune, and rank the riders in terms of my favourites, in which I'll talk about them as a rider, I'll talk about the teams that they're riding with. Then it'll be prediction time. I've got a few special guests to make their predictions as well as mine. So let's delve right into it and begin with the 5-star favourites for the maillot jaune. Don't forget that if you enjoy the content you see on here, to hit the like button down below, but also subscribe so you can get the content nice and quickly, and hit the bell icon so you get notifications every time I release a video. So the 5-star favourites for the 2021 Tour de France for me is a very short list. It's one rider, and it is Tadej Pogacar of Team UAE. For me, he's had the best season amongst the GC contenders. He's been consistently up there in all the big races and won them, minus a small tactical cock-up in the Basque Country. He has looked pretty dominant and on another level. The mountain stages will suit him, the potential for aggressive racing will suit him, and the time trials will suit him as well. The downsides, or the cons, if you will, for Pogacar is if there's a crosswind day, his team missed the boat last year. I could see that happening again this year. And overall, the team have been very hit and miss. Yes, they've developed their squad with signing Rafa Majka and Mark Hirschi, and they've brought in McNulty and De La Cruz, who was the only one that really supported him last year. But they've all been hit and miss this year in terms of their form. So they will need to really step up for their leader. Otherwise, it could be a very lonely race for Pogacar. But he did prove that he could handle that last year. Moving now to my 4-star favourites, we've got Geraint Thomas, Richard Carapaz, and Primoz Roglic. We'll start with the Ineos duo. Thomas has grown into the year, winning Romandy. He did well at the Dauphiné in support of Richie Porte. I think the time trials will suit him very well. I think there's a lot of mountain stages that are more suited for the power climbers, for example, going up to Team. So I think he will possibly look to take advantage of the power climb. But he will mainly use the time trial and then defend. Carapaz, on the other hand, he looked fantastic in Tour de Suisse. He will be the aggressive climber, as Ineos said at the beginning of the year. Carapaz will be the one that goes out, be aggressive, and tries and takes the race to Pogacar and Roglic. He's got a good time trial. I expect him to lose somewhere between a minute and 2 minutes in both TTs, so he will have to be aggressive. But we know he will be, and that's a fantastic thing. The final 4-star favourite for me is Primoz Roglic. The only reasons why I haven't put him in the 5-star is because we haven't seen him race. It's unknown until Saturday what level he is at. We know how he's going to ride though. He will be strong in the time trial on stay 5 and 20. He will try and use his team to defend the jersey or defend his position, and then sprint inside the final kilometre like he's become the best at, really, on the mountain stages. The only downside I see is that he isn't a fan, I don't think, of aggressive racing, when it's nice and aggressive, which every fan loves, he doesn't do well. So if it's aggressive, which I think it will be, I think he could struggle. Um, and also the team that was so dominant last year haven't been on song this year. They've had Wout van Aert has obviously had a good season, but he's recently had his appendix removed. Um, Kuss has been off colour. Kreuzweg has been off colour. So in the high mountains, at the end of the stages, will he have as much support if Carapaz and Teo are up the road, for example? 3-star favourites for me. We've got David Gaudu, Miguel Angel Lopez, Rigoberto Urán, and Wilco Kelderman. 2 of them will look to base it around the time trial with Urán and Kelderman, and then look to be defensive, maybe slightly aggressive in the mountains. 2 of them will look to limit their losses as best they can in the time trials, and then go hell for leather in the mountains. David Gaudu will only have the support of probably 2 riders in the mountains, with Bruno Almarai and Valentin Madouas. He's had a good season. He looked strong, but with a little bit of extra room to grow at the Dauphiné, and he podiumed at Liège-Bastogne-Liège. So he's looking strong. He's improving. I think he is a good bet for the podium. I really do. I think if he had a stronger team, it would be almost a sure thing. But I think he's a good bet for a podium. Lopez will need to attack a lot. Given that he lost nearly 6 minutes in the TT last year, he's going to have to go mental, which we know Movistar can. We know Movistar can create these wonderful tactics. And I really hope that if Lopez is looking strong, I really hope they rally behind one leader and give him a fair shot at the podium, because we all know how good he is at his best in the mountains. We saw that on Col de la Loze last year with a fantastic win. So let's watch him. Let's see him free Lopez to try and free him up for a podium. Rigoberto Urán will look to be slightly defensive in the mountains, I guess. If he time trials like he did in Tour de Suisse, then he will be in the top 5 and in and around the fight for a podium. He was fantastic. Simply put, it was brilliant to see him return to some form. He and Lopez, I forgot to say, will have a strong team, with Urán having the likes of Higuita, and my mind's gone back. Lopez will have like Mas, Valverde if he rides for the team, Soler, Verona. So they'll both have a strong team. Kelderman, on the other hand, is in a similar position to Gaudu with team. He'll have Manny Buchmann and Patrick Conrad, but everyone else is there for Sagan, like Damar at Groupama. He will be strong in the time trial, and he can be aggressive in the mountains, but I expect him to follow the Jumbo-Visma train or the Ineos train and just see what happens. Up my list, we'll go through the 1 and 2-star favourites together. 2-star favourites, we've got Richie Porte and Teo Geoghegan-Hart and Enric Mas. Richie Porte, yes, he podiumed last year, but he's not been the biggest fan of 3-week races. And he also seems quite happy to be a domestique. He will go well in the TTs though, so he will be in the picture for that first mountain stage. So they might let him free. They might set him free and see what he can do. Teo has had a mixed bag as a build-up this year. He's looked really strong on a few days of the Dauphiné, but then also he's looked relatively weak compared to the others. So I think he will probably filter into the domestique role for Carapaz and Thomas. But as we saw at the Giro last year, if they give him some freedom, he will build into the race, and who knows what he could achieve? We don't know. Enric Mas has been similar to Teo in that he's struggled with the build-up. He's done well, he hasn't. He's done well, he hasn't. I expect them to back Lopez. I hope they do, but this is Movistar after all. A top 10 would be a good result for Mas. If he could sneak into a breakaway, he could potentially win a stage. I'd expect him to attack maybe on the Vontu stage. We saw how strong Lopez looked in Challenge Vontu. I think that'll be the day Movistar go rogue and go crazy. 1-star favourites, I have Guillaume Martin and Michael Woods. Guillaume Martin and Woods are strong climbers. They'll be good in the mountains. We know they will both be aggressive, but they also have a Lopez style TT in them where they could lose 5-6 minutes. So don't think they're strong enough climbers to create big gaps. If I was them, I would maybe lose a little time and maybe go for the King of the Mountains jersey, maybe try and get into breakaways and get stage wins and get into the top 10 that way, which is no mean feat. I mean, they're both good riders. I just don't see them being able to be up there. I have my list of 5-star, 4, 3, 2, and 1 favourites. From there, my podium would be David Gaudu or Miguel Angel Lopez in 3rd place, Richard Carapaz in 2nd place, and winning the Tour de France for the 2nd time in a row would be Tadej Pogačar. May be surprised that I've not put Roglic on the podium. That's because I think it's going to be a super aggressive race from day one, and with the fact that we don't know where Roglic's form is, and my feelings on him with aggressive racing, if it is that aggressive, I don't see him finishing on the podium. I think he will gain a lot of time in the time trials, but I think he could also lose a lot of time in the mountains, especially if his team aren't very strong. That's enough hearing from me. I'm going to hand over now to Harry, Mavis, and Steve, 3 friends of mine, and they are going to share some predictions of the race of their own.
Hi guys. Definitely shaping up to be another incredible edition of the Tour de France, and as always, an absolute raft of potential winners and talent. However, for me, there's 3 riders operating on a higher level than everybody else. Primož Roglic, Tadej Pogačar, and Geraint Thomas. 2 time trial stages should suit all 3 of them, and 6 mountain stages will make it difficult for everybody else. Any of the 3, I think, could take the overall win. However, with his current form, 3rd at Volta Catalunya and the Criterium de Dauphiné, and an overall win at the Tour of Romandy, Geraint Thomas is my pick for the top spot of the podium, especially backed up with the amazing stacked squad of the Ineos Grenadiers.
So here we are for the start of the Tour de France 2021. My tip for stage 1 is Julian Alaphilippe. There could be crosswinds this weekend, and as we know, De Koenig Quickstep are really good at controlling the race. So he's a new dad, could be a Frenchman in a yellow jersey at the end of the day, and I think that's enough to spur him on. My tip for overall, toughie, my heart says G, Geraint Thomas, but also Richard Carapaz. He's clearly in good form after the Tour de Suisse, and he's been training a lot at altitude at home. So I think the battle's going to be interesting, but I'm going to stick with my heart and go for Geraint Thomas.
Hi gents. So I think it's going to be some good racing this year. I think for the podium, I'm going to call Thomas to win. and Pogacar and Richie Porte to round out the podium. I think green jersey is going to be a shout between Van der Poel and Van Aert, and I think Van der Poel will just take it.
There we have it. Thanks, guys, for those predictions. The 2021 Tour de France is shaping to be an exciting race, with plenty of opportunities for everyone. So let's sit back and enjoy the next 3 weeks of racing. Keep an eye on here and on my website, to which I'll put a link down below, for any reviews, highlights of stages, of weeks, and at the end of the tour I will put a little review show out for you all to enjoy as well. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy.